William, hopefully your favorite videographer. We are here at the Dallas Area Rapid Transit Board meeting, the agency known as DART to Dallas, Texas residents. As a service to the Dallas community, we plan to cover DART board meetings from gavel to gavel. Public comments are required to keep DART board aware of issues close to the ridership that they may not get through other resources.
Good evening. I'm going to call the Dallas Area Rapid Transit Board of Directors meeting to order. It is Tuesday, April 10th at 6:30 p.m. Thank you all for coming down. The first item on our agenda this evening is the approval of the minutes for March 27, 2018. Is there any edits or changes any board member would like to make? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Mr. Jackson approves, and who's the second? I'm sorry. Mr. Mayor Slagle. Okay. We have a motion and we have a second. All in favor, please push your button accordingly. The item carries unanimously. The next item on our agenda is the public hearing. I'm going to read the official script for the public hearing. Good evening, and thank you for attending tonight's public hearing. My name is Sue Bowman, and I will be the hearing officer this evening. For your information, DART has not received a request for hearing impaired services at this public hearing. Therefore, we have not provided a signed interpreter. Tonight's public hearing will be divided into two parts. The first part will consist of a brief overview on the project by technical staff, and the public hearing will follow the presentation. During the public hearing, we must follow some guidelines. Pre-registered speakers will make their comments first, followed by assigning speakers in the order received. Those who do not wish to speak may submit a written comment. All comments will be included in the official public record. A DART board resolution has established a limit of 3 minutes per speaker, and speakers must address the topic of the hearing. Other subjects will not be allowed in the hearing. Questions, interchange, and discussions are not generally allowed in the hearing. However, if a board member wishes to raise a question, he or she may do so. Technical staff will be available after the public hearing for questions. Now, Rob Smith, the Assistant Vice President of Dallas Service Planning, will make the presentation. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you and good evening. And this public hearing involves experimental service frequency changes for DART Route 27 and the introduction of a second on-call zone in Rowlett. Public hearings are required for changes involving new routes with modifications to at least 25% of the alignment, routes with a significant adjustment in service frequency, or a major change in destinations along the route. As far as Route 27 changes, in response to customer feedback, we made minor route adjustments late last year to improve service access in the Harwood district of uptown. The map on the right shows the area in blue where we're diverting the buses onto Harwood to allow for pickups and drop-offs in that immediate area. In addition, based on customer feedback on March 26th, DART improved peak frequency of service on this route to operate every 20 minutes instead of every 40 minutes. This change was not included in the formal March 2018 service change process and was implemented as an experimental service pending tonight's public hearing and final board approval. The other change is the Rowlett on-call. Rowlett has an existing on-call zone serving areas east of the downtown Rowlett station. We've received numerous requests to cover the western half of Rowlett, which has very limited fixed route service coverage. And effective in June, Rowlett would be served by west and east on-call zones covering the entire city. The map on the right shows the two zones that would be created. The East Rowlett zone slightly reduced from the current zone. The other areas would be taken up by the new West Rowlett on-call zone. DART service planning staff members, Lanisha Hunter and I, are here tonight to speak to riders of the public about these changes, and that concludes our technical presentation.
Tonight's hearing is being recorded by a comments received or a matter on the record. It is now 6:35 p.m. on Tuesday, April 10, 2018. And according to the requirements set forth in DART's enabling legislation, this public hearing on Route 27 and Rowlett on-call service modification is now open to receive comment. Today, DART has received 10 written comments on the above issue. Any written comments received by the end of the hearing will be added to this total. We will begin to receive comments now. Please be reminded there is a 3-minute limit in which to make the comments, and please keep the comments on the subject of the Route 27 and Rowlett on-call service modification public hearing. Our first speaker is the mayor of Rowlett, Mayor Tammy Dana Bashan, and she has also brought 2 of her council members down. So, Mayor, will you come up? You may want to introduce them. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Absolutely, and thank you, Madam Chair and ladies and gentlemen of the board. My name is Tammy Dana Bashan. I'm the mayor of the city of Rowlett, and I have brought 2 council members, Blake Margolis and Pamela Bell. And we appreciate this opportunity, and we are very, very excited about DART on-call service for the city of Rowlett. We've had DART on-call service for on the eastern side of Rowlett for many years, and we've really been lacking service for our entire city of Rowlett. DART on-call is a tremendous service for the citizens of Rowlett and for other DART member cities. And we in Rowlett are very appreciative of our relationship with DART and the responsiveness to our concerns and requests to make our system even better. As you know, Rowlett is a proud founding member of DART. The transportation options provided offer a vital service to our residents and are an attractive amenity for potential businesses and residents who are considering Rowlett as a new home. When the redevelopment planning for the downtown of Rowlett began, we made a conscious decision to focus on downtown Rowlett stations, proximity with uses such as higher density residential development, retail shops, and restaurants that are associated with rail transit. These plans have become a reality, and the area will continue to grow and prosper, becoming the cultural heart of our city. As I mentioned, DART is a founding member of, Rowlett is a founding member of DART, and this was made particularly clear in our pre-public hearing community meeting for these proposed service changes was held in Rowlett on April 2nd. The residents who spoke that night were overwhelmingly in support of the second on-call zone. The meeting, that pre-hearing also reminded us that, DART isn't just a nice convenience where they can take the train somewhere. It is a lifeblood of many of our residents that have to use that service. And is that my 3 minutes?
No, you can take as much time.
Okay, I don't have much more. We had several residents speak that night that they rely very heavily on DART to get to their jobs, to get to their, to be able to shop, the senior citizens. And not having that second on-call service has really limited their options. We actually had one lady speak that has to walk 3 miles in the morning and 3 miles in the evening to her job and from her job from the DART station. And now we'll be able to use the DART on-call service on the western area of our town. So we're very, very appreciative of that. In closing, the city of Rowlett obviously supports the DART on-call zone, and we appreciate any support we can get from the board. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. We appreciate it. There are no other speakers, so since there are no other registered speakers, is there anyone present who would like to make a comment relative to this item? Would anyone like to turn in a written comment? You have one person, okay?
I'm turning a comment. I didn't know that 27 was going to be talked about. Unipay.
You do want to talk about the Rowlett service?
Yes, I
Okay.
want to talk about the Route 27.
Have you filled out a card?
I will fill one out.
When you're through? Okay, please give us your name.
Gina McCain.
Thank you.
I'll floor into the mic, please.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Uh-huh.
All right. The Route 27, I'm so glad that you guys are keeping it because we talked about Route 27 for years, something going up and down Paradise. So it feels good to me to know that you're going to continue from downtown Dallas to parking up to 27 and going over to Harwood, because it really helps the people that are disabled, trying to get from the west end to the parking lot, going over to the west end transit center, getting the train, walking down, then walking over. So that's a big help for me, because I kept it, I helped keep that route like 4 years ago. So I'm glad you're keeping it, and people at the Rolex building is super happy as well. Good job.
Thank you for your comments. And be sure to fill out a card.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. If anybody else would like to speak or turn in a written comment, any comments made after the close of the public hearing will not be part of the record of these proceedings. Since there are no other speakers or written comments to be turned in at this time, I would like to thank you for attending the public hearing, which is now officially closed at 6:40 p.m. And having said that, we'll return to our regular agenda at this time. The next item on our agenda is the public comment period, and we have several speakers who would like to speak at that time. And I'm going to read you the script that many of you know by heart by now, but it is general public comments will be allowed at the beginning of each dartboard meeting for a total of 30 minutes. And again, at the end of the meeting, when the 30-minute period does not accommodate all persons who have signed up to speak. If you wish to speak at the end of the meeting, please fill out a public speaker card and turn it in to board support staff prior to the start of the meeting. Individuals who have addressed the board in the past 30 days will be recognized to speak during the public comment period at the end of the meeting. During the public comment period, board members may not interact with the speaker or other board members by asking questions or offering their own comment. Members of the public are reminded that their behavior during dartboard meetings is governed by the Dartboard Code of Conduct for citizens, news media, and visitors. Personal attacks, impertinent or slanderous remarks, and boisterous conduct will not be allowed. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to address the board. The green light on the podium will indicate when you can begin speaking. The yellow light indicates that you have 1 minute remaining, and the red light indicates that your time has expired. Our first speaker this evening is Dick Rivas, followed by Clarence Patrick.
I'm Dick Revis. I'm a retired journalist. I've spoken to you before. Perhaps because of my profession, I read the newspapers pretty closely. This morning, I pulled off the web of the Dallas News a story called 5 Things a New Report Says About Living, Working, and Dying in Dallas County. I haven't yet seen that in the paper edition. Maybe it'll be there tomorrow. I wanted to read you a line from it. 2 sentences. Dallas County's overall median income, adjusted for inflation, decreased by $10,000 between 1999 and 2015. That's decreased, the report found. The middle class has also been shrinking as the gap between rich and poor has widened and deepened entrenched economic and racial segregation in the city. I read that to say that on 2 occasions, one 6 years ago and the other when y'all passed the recent fare increase, the board has aggravated the problems cited here. In an era of declining incomes, you've raised the rates. I wanted to point that out so that you know where you stand in history. For the past 75 years, Dallas has been ruled by a business elite. That has begun to change, as most of you all know, and was shown in the last city council elections. Those of us on the Fare Hike Committee are going to keep agitating until August the 20th. if nothing else, in the hopes that your fare increase will be remembered as the last stand of the reactionaries. Thank you.
Next speaker is Clarence Patrick, followed by Tammy Weiss. Is Mr. Patrick here?
Yes.
Oh, thank you, okay.
Good evening. My name is Clarence Patrick. I'm a road car check for the city of Dallas. My concern is the safety for the passengers on light rails, especially at night. Travels in the southern section, the southern sector, because that's where I live. But of course, maybe during the day, you probably have, of course, patrol, whether it be fare inspectors or police officers. But at night, I rarely see any police officers on the trains. And I'm sure you have them stationed at some stations, like Ledbetter, West End, Illinois, but a lot of stations don't have visibility for police officers. Now, of course, the tools you have, like the apps and the cameras, those are good tools. But really, my concern is having the actual officers there in case something goes down, if some crime develops, whether especially at night. Like I say, on the trains, even some of the buses. So I do frequent it at night, and as well as, like I say, I do ride early in the morning when I go to work. But my concern, like I say, is the safety of the passengers at nighttime. And even on Buckner trains, when I'm traveling to Buckner Station, during the night hours, I don't rarely see any inspectors or police officers. So my concern is safety. And not only that, I would like to see more information in the southern sector, like information for the board meetings and stuff like that. I didn't know anything about a board meeting until I actually came before, I think it was before March 27th, on the Cotton Belt. And so, I didn't go to that one, but the thing of it is that, if we get more information on the trains as well as the buses, 2, 11, and stuff like that, concerning these public hearings, I think more people from the southern sector would attend and have more to say concerning. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Patrick. If you'd like to speak to Lieutenant Lindsay back here, he can help you maybe with some of your security questions.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, thank you.
Thank you for coming down. Appreciate it. The next speaker is Tammy Weiss. Is she there? Okay, great. Followed by Rodney Anderson.
Hello. Hello, everyone. My name is Tammy Weiss. My husband, Tracy Weiss, has been a police officer for DART for almost 18 years. We have 2 children, a 28-year-old son that has cerebral palsy and who's had 24 surgeries, and a 21-year-old daughter that is an ex-gymnast and had 5 surgeries and many injuries. So you could say we're very well versed in doctors, hospitals, and insurance companies. We've probably had 15 insurance companies since we've been here. All of them were great. We were told how great this new insurance was going to be since we went with the open access plan, and we could see any doctor we chose. That was a very misleading statement because all of the doctors we choose have the right to say no. I did not understand all the ramifications that came with this insurance until I received our cards in the mail. I was floored that there was a copay for PCPs and urgent care, but there was not for ERs, hospitals, or specialists. They don't cover anything until your deductible's met. Even then, the deductible is 15% out of our pocket, which doesn't sound like a lot unless it's a $75,000 hospital bill. So I have contacted Healthscope Benefits several times in 3.5 months that we've had it. I called to see if any of the gynecologists we had were on it. They actually called 3 of them. They don't accept it, so I cash paid for my daughter. Called again, another 2-hour call. Wanted to see if there was any primary care physicians in our area that we used. They didn't take it. So they also told me that in Mesquite, a town of 150,000 people, that there is not one PCP that's on their list. So I don't think that that's okay. My special needs son last week, was recommended to another doctor for spinal surgery. We went to that doctor. Of course, they had asked about the insurance because it's a new plan, and they said that they did not take it, called Telescope Benefits, they called them. Then they called back, said they did take it, but they didn't take the one that Dart has. So I pay $1,600 for my son's MRI. We pay a lot every month, and we're not being able to use any of our benefits. So y'all say that y'all are concerned for the public, and you're there for the public, but where are y'all for us?
The next speaker is Rodney Anderson, followed by William Dockery.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My concern is basically with the young lady just spoke regarding the health scope. When Dart presented the health scope for the open access, they indicated that we could go, if we chose open access, that we'll be able to go to any doctor we wanted to see. That would be a higher premium and higher deductible by taking it. I specifically asked as well, my family go to UT Southwestern. I have several specialists that go to UT Southwestern. Do I take UT Southwestern? They told me yes. I have 2 specialists I try to see this month. When I call and make an appointment, they call me back and say, unfortunately, we don't take your insurance, and we don't, because UT Southwestern do not have a contract with HealthScope. At that time, I called HealthScope. They said, well, we still negotiating, so let me call them and check and see what we can do. They called them and said, unfortunately, you won't be able to see them. UT Southwestern told me that, yeah, they could see me, but the visit and procedure I needed would be $2,000 up front, which I didn't have. I met my family out-of-pocket deductible, so if I were to pay that, I shouldn't be able to pay for 15% of that. But Dart HealthScope misled us into thinking that we can go anywhere. I pay a higher premium, I did my family deductible, but I'm not able to see the doctor that I was told I could see. I talked to the representative at HealthScope on Dart premises. They said, well, we're Dart management staff is still working with UT Southwestern to see if we can take them. We were misled into thinking that by taking this insurance that it would be beneficial for us, that I would be able to go to see any doctor I wanted to. Right now, that's not the case. We were told that Dart would basically have them try them out for a year to see how they're doing. If not, they won't go with the contract. So I'm just asking, if you look at the look into this, they're not getting what we were promised, and I don't think you should go forward with any more of a contract with HealthScope.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. William Dockery, followed by Stephanie Young.
Airport staff, you know me, I'm a big videographer. I'm late today. Your bus with me comes to 5 feet to the door, and your 19 driver blew me off. Come on, you didn't check your fare. I know you heard me say, hey, because you looked back at me, but as you kept on driving. Courtesy, connectivity, you don't deserve your pay raise for the customers. You're not giving anything back. Pretty bad. I'm here. I didn't have the time to work with your sound man, so I picked this conversation up directly from your audio system and get rid of the room echo. So I'm now producing a video that is less than good quality. The other one is on Martin Luther King's birthday. I don't know if his birthday caused a problem or not. I was scheduled to go to do some videoing for the people. I don't say I have a large following, but I'm recording history, whether you believe it or not. Someday, someplace, someone may have the like
to have heard the speakers talk about Martin Luther King Jr. I waited 50 minutes for a bus. The first bus, I was there at 3. I literally broke the law to get there, crossing it. Hey, here I am, gone away. Okay, check the schedule. It's, oh, wait a minute, I got another bus in 10 minutes. Scout, this bus is really late. Okay, I got a bus in 10 minutes. It didn't show. Another 20 minutes. Bus didn't show. I think the event was supposed to start at 6 or 6:30. I'm not quite sure at this particular second. That bus eventually did blow by me as I was crossing the Jackson Avenue to eventually go back to my place and give up because I don't make a video. I don't make money. I can't pay my bills and I can't do anything else. You're controlling my income by not giving your, what do you call it, 5-star, 5A business rate. I don't know what the rules and regulations you are placing on these drivers. I say, oh, I have to get going and leave right now. Can't wait for that guy. Can't wait for that handicap. By the way, I wouldn't want to try and argue it, but it breaks the federal law of if you disable a, encumber a handicapped person, that's federal law. That's being broken. Not state law, but federal. I would like to argue. But there's good enough cases before a court, maybe you might do something. The other thing is personal or business-wise. I've been noticing in city, they were starting with consent agendas. They just put up a whole bunch of stuff, do we agree? Yep, everything's done, makes things so fast. They actually finished the first and second time gone. Can I get 30 seconds?
30 seconds.
Okay, you are also doing the same. These board meetings are nothing but complaint gathering areas. You all get interested, whatever, but that's it. I don't see any real action. It's all consent agenda. Where are the other recordings? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dockford. If you'd like to speak to Harold Humphrey about some of your issues about your service, he will talk to you. Mr. Humphrey, where is Mr. Humphrey? There he is. Thank you. Next speaker is Stephanie Young, followed by Holly Dutton.
Good evening, my name is Stephanie Young. I'm talking about the speakers and things that didn't get attention when I was here in November. Bus fares going up. I'd like to know why. Because they don't accommodate half what they're supposed to do. The second part of my question is, when I was here in November, the route that I used to ride, which is 110, it only runs every hour. So if I get off work at 1 o'clock, I have to literally sit downtown until 2 o'clock, which earlier I looked at the problem you guys had with our leg, and they went from 40 to 20 minutes and on time flat. But I came in March, and I discussed this with the gentleman, and nothing has changed from March. So why in certain areas it gets attention with no problem, and the other areas, which is people of color, it takes longer? I don't understand that. And somebody explain to me, I would appreciate it. Again, it's going up, but for what? Because it's harder on us to take care of what we already have to take care of. Because if that was the case, we would ride the bus, the majority of us would have a car. So if we can't handle $5, we shouldn't be able to handle more. And then you're taking our things that we're gonna use. Like now, we have to pay twice. So you have to pay in the morning, then 12 o'clock, you have to pay again. So when we get off in the evening, we turn around and have to pay more. So now, my card is gonna increase, because they're gonna take out twice a day. So the bank is making money off of me, and Doris is making money off of me, which that's still putting me behind. So Dallas said they're looking out for everything. Looked like Dallas was helping and looking out for Dallas. So again, I would like for somebody to explain why is it going up? Was it benefiting us or them?
Thank you, Ms. Young. If you'd like to speak to Todd Lesko about more detail about your issues, he's here and you can speak to him tonight if you'd like to.
Okay, and like I said the last time I was here, if it's just a pony and show and wasting his time, he wastes money, and he's not gonna take care of you anything, you don't have to talk.
Well, Mr. Plesko is the vice president of planning, so you may want to talk to him.
So we will get stuff done like, instead of what happened last time, only half of it got done?
Well, I'm sorry, I don't know what happened last time, but I think if you'd like to speak with him, he's available, and that's your choice if you'd like to, and he can raise his hand and say where he is somewhere. There he is.
Okay, as long as we can get something done.
Okay, thanks for your time. Thank you. The next speaker is Holly Dutton, followed by Lucretia Richardson.
Okay.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the Dark Board. First, I want to express my appreciation for the Vital Mass Transit services provided by DART. However, many low-income Dallas residents, myself included, cannot afford to operate or rent a vehicle. Many low-income residents also suffer from disabilities which may preclude their ability to operate a vehicle. Therefore, DART is about the only viable service available to many low-income residents. I think that to serve more riders better, low-income riders should be included in the DART reduced fare program. Making DART services more affordable for low-income riders would enable them to better carry out their daily affairs. More affordable fares would also help to increase ridership, therefore increasing profits. Adding low-income riders to DART's reduced fare program would be a great step toward this worthwhile goal. Thank you.
Lucretia Riddick, followed by Sherilyn Samuel.
Good afternoon. I'll make this quick with you all. I come to you this evening to be a mouthpiece for many of my fellow operators regarding our current insurance. One issue that we seem to be having is that our PCP, as well as other doctors that we've contacted due to the fact, other doctors that we've contacted would not accept this insurance due to the fact that they're saying their claims have not been paid previously. We pay extra to go outside this current insurance, and we are still being denied our basic health insurance needs. In order for us as operators to perform our jobs as we're supposed to, we have to be healthy. This job as an operator is not only strenuous, but it is stressful and is underappreciated. For the last 5 years that I've been at DART, we have seen 3 different insurances. We need to get it together. We have children, we have families, and we stand here tonight to ask you all to fix the situation quickly. Now, I've heard 1,000 times over that we are the faces of DART. Not only are we the faces of DART, I'm here to tell you tonight that we are the head of DART, the tail of DART, and we are also the backbone of DART. So please fix this issue as soon as possible. Thank you.
Excuse me, our next speaker is Sherilyn Samuel, followed by Stephanie,
Mbakwe Dunn, Sammy Woodall.
Stephanie Schultz. I beg your pardon?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My first issue is the sexual harassment. I just come from Labor Notes, and I'm a member of the Chocolate Makers Union. Got a lot of information on sexual harassment. I'm asking this board to please fix it. Let me tell you something. The ones that been here the longest, they know this to be true. Here we don't get half the information about what's going on in the country. They keep it here from you. Okay? Most of the time, Gary gets it when you are here. Okay? So don't be so hard on him, because he gets it most of the time when we bring it to him. The next thing, Jerry Reynolds Jr. was moved from bus dispatch for sexual harassment and put over in rail dispatch, guess what? He's doing the same thing. Fix it. We shouldn't have to come to work and be sexual harassed, period. Now, I feel sexual harassed because all the people that got the job that I applied for and stuff had been involved in some type of sexual harassment. Now, I feel like because I don't give in to that crap, that's the reason why I've been held back. Fix it. Another thing, this insurance, we got young mothers that's not dependent on the welfare system. They here to make a living. Their kids need decent medical. Now, this is my personal opinion. Just like the uniform store, somebody in this building got a part in it. This insurance, somebody in this building got a part in it too. Moving people, we are applying for jobs. Most jobs are filled by people, friends, family that's down here 1401. Fix it. We're tired. We are very tired. Me personally, I will go on the outside, but I want to work with the companies that I've been working for 26 years. These young people, North Texas Rider, love them there. And guess what? I got no place to meet. And they're going to be able to meet like they want to. We're not backing up. We moving forward. Either you're going to move forward with us, or we're going to try to see about taking it over. We're going to take it over. Who run this city? ATU. Who run this city? North Texas, right? Y'all better get on board, get with these folks that's up under Gary, and hold them accountable for not taking care of business.
Next speaker is Stephanie Shiver. Ms. Shiver.
Hello, I appreciate you getting my name correct this time.
I apologize for the best.
It's all right, I understand. I come here today again in protest of the care increase that is planned. It is an unfair, it is a cruel increase. It is only going to affect the riders who are most dependent on the transit system. It is an increase that is not going to help your bottom line because it will increase ridership. It's an increase that is past what is people are getting in wages, past the rate of inflation. It's not necessary. I understand that it is part of your protected plans, but you can raise money elsewhere besides the backs of your poorest people. You need to find a different solution. You have a lot of problems going on, clearly. I've been to many of these meetings and I hear a lot of stuff going on. A fair increase will not solve any of them. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
That's our last speaker for the first portion of our public comments. We'll now go to our regular agenda. Item number 5, Mr. Kelly. It's a consent item.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Item 5 is a motion to approve changes to the audit department charter. It came through the audit committee and received unanimous approval. I move for its approval.
Second.
All in favor, please vote by pushing your button. It passes unanimously. The next item we have is for individual consideration. It is the DART Bus Service LGC Board. It is the transfer of $500,000 of Toyota Motor North America Inc. grant funds to DART for mobility on-demand expenses in Plano and in southern Dallas. This passed unanimously, or I believe, in our committee today. And is there a motion to approve? Mr. Wakeman, and Ms. Kraus. Thank you. All in favor, please vote on your button. Thank you, the motion passed. We'll now go back to our second session of public comments. I do have a couple of speakers who would like to speak. The first one is Johnny Haggerty. The second one is Destin Germany. And several more, okay. I'm sorry, is Johnny Haggerty here? Trying to get in? Okay, Mr. Haggerty. Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Chairman, board members, and Mr. Thomas, and my constituents, and our visitors and guests. I come tonight, and I stand here before you with a troubled mind and a fragile heart. And I'm hurting for my constituents. I come to ask the board to address the seating for the operators on the bus. We are supposed to be a first-class transit agent, but the operators are not seated for first-class service. If the seating for the operators could be upgraded on the buses for comfort and safety, I believe that the operators could be seated for comfort, and it could create a safety valve for our to avoid accidents and prevention of uncomfortable ride for the passengers, because safety is our first priority here at DART, and it will assist in giving our passengers a safer, a more comfort and secure ride on our buses. Seating is not supportive to our operators' backs. I asked the chairman and the board, Mr. Thomas, to address this tonight. And I'm being very brief. I tried to give some of the younger members an opportunity. That means I have about 5 seconds. Well, I tried to give them an opportunity to come up, but I thank the board for giving me this opportunity and you, Mr. Thompson, to come before you and speak tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The next speaker is Destin Germany, followed by William Sanders Jr.
Good afternoon, board. Hope you're all doing well. It's a pretty rough night for you guys. I do want to say that I know that I'm part of the Fair Affairs Committee, but a lot of the things that the people that work for you have to say about my accomplishments is really disheartening for me looking on the outside. We would hope that this agency would treat the people that work for it and provide as much of the services to the community a lot of respect, and it sounds like they've been lied to in regards to their health care. So on behalf of the rider, I hope that you guys will look into those. And like many people before me, and like I say every meeting, I do hope that you guys rescind your vote on the previous fare increase, and that you guys would go back and try to find a different avenue in order to keep up with your 20-year plan. I think that is pretty aggressive, as we always say, but also I feel like you guys aren't actually worried about increasing ridership, and I feel like you guys are part of a system essentially, and that you guys don't realize that you guys actually have the agency to make a lot of people's lives better. And I think that if you guys just, at least from just like a community engagement standpoint, if you guys would actually, and I know that you probably can't respond to everybody and make the meetings too long, but if you could respond to any of the issues that happen here, maybe at a later meeting, the next meeting that follows up, I think that would be really nice for people to hear. As it stands now, we come up here and we tell you all these things and we don't really get any feedback at all. We don't know how you feel about what we've been telling you when you come every meeting. Obviously, the fare hike is probably not going to be changed at all, but like Ms. Holly said, I believe that we do hope that you guys, if you are going forward with this, that you include a low-income fare in there to go along with the fare cap and other good measures that you guys have approved. And once again, I just want you guys to know, we all want the system to be better for everybody. I'm not sure how your system works, and I'm not sure how the community advisory council works either. But if you guys could just take into consideration the people that are actually dependent on the service and actually bringing to the table some things, I think we can all come to a better system. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Germany. Next speaker is William Sanders Jr., followed by Alvin Jones.
Greetings to the board and all that are assembled. Madam Chair, my mother told me as I was growing up that when flowers were due to anyone, to be sure and give them at the time that they're due. Mr. Executive Vice President, or Mr. Executive President, Director, excuse me, Mr. Executive Director, and your staff. Thank you for such a wonderful luncheon on yesterday for the retirees. Now, that being said, I'm going to turn it over. And as I have heard that some of the things that these employees are crying about never get to you. So I'm talking to those individuals that are making these rules and those individuals that are enforcing these rules, and to the board who have all authority to see that these employees are treated with respect and dignity. Now, we have a first-class transportation system here in Dallas. Let's keep it that way. I had some of the employees to come to me and ask me about 1980. Well, I don't want to entertain 1980. And the reason I don't want to retain go back to 1980 because those were some harsh days. Of course, we withstood. I was one of the main instigators. I'm not ashamed to say. However, the old preacher down at home would say, howsoever. I'm still here. And I don't plan to go anywhere. And may I, in my summation, to those who are making these rules, I'm talking to you now, that's before we get to the executive director. You're making these rules, but I want you to go home to your office or wherever, and I want you to pick up your Bible. And I want you to read Matthew 7 and 12. I respectfully challenge you to do that. And I'm talking to those that make the rules now that's coming up to the executive director. And Mr. Executive Director, if it gets to you, I want you to respectfully challenge you to read it also. That's Matthew 7 and 12, Luke 6 and 31. And with that being said, thank you, Madam Chair, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, Board. And I will expect action because I see the woods dark and deep. But I have promises to keep. For I have miles to travel before I sleep. And I add my words to that because I see my people as they weep. Thank you.
Is Alvin Jones, followed by Alex Talecki.
Good evening, everyone. Board members, I appreciate you guys granting me the opportunity to be here to stand before you. Our first issue is basically dealing with a workman's comp issue while I was staying on the job, being back in August of August 11, 2017, where the monitor behind the bus went off. Real loud noise for about 2.5 to 3 hours. I called dispatch, and one of the line supervisors, met me, and I returned back to the Northwest Division. As of January 2018, I went to the doctor. Dr. Hector Gonzalez of the U.S. Health Work took me off work, and as of January the 12th, it's the last check that I received. As of this date, I have not received the check. On March the 16th, I had an opportunity to meet with the Diversity Department and Mr. Muhammad. They granted me an extension because the first extension that I requested by Mrs. Orr wasn't approved until February 13th. I had a big issue with Northwest Management in regards to the actual date. So Mr. Muhammad and the Diversity Department extended until March the 28th. I returned back to work on March 28th. I went into training. My DOT expired. Friday I drove without DOT certification. On Monday I went back to work. I was out on my run. John Foster said Mrs. Lisa Taylor told him to take me off my run. I returned back to the building. They took me off the run. They didn't allow me to run, to continue the run because they said they needed a medical statement. I submitted the medical statement. I submitted the medical statement to Mrs. Taylor. It was faxed. I have all the documentation, but in closing, it's been very unfair. However, I see a lot of things, as one of the young ladies, the operator said, there's a lot of things going on at the Northwest Division that is in violation of company policy. I've notified, I've written Mr. Faulkner, Mr. Muhammad, even Mr. Gary Thomas. Also, I've written Mrs. Wise. So they're very aware of some of the things that's been going on. Like I said, as of this date, and as I speak, I haven't received any checks or any benefits as of to this day. I went back to work Monday. I was taken off because they said that I had DDO. I had to go get my DOT certification, and I did so. And in addition, in closing, I submitted a letter of sexual harassment, inappropriate sexual behavior in the workplace by Kenneth Super, by Paul Gregory. Ms. Taylor's aware of it. Mr. Faulkner's aware of it. So I'm closing. And like I said, we need you guys to do something. You guys run this corporation. You know, if you guys don't do anything, it's just hypocrisy. It really is. You know, and like I said, I got all the documentation. I asked the senators, and also in closing, you know, the various government agencies, the Texas General, the senators, the representatives, the CIA, and the FBI to investigate the fraudulent activity. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay. Alex Pilecki and Albert
Matthew 7:12.
Here, she's coming. And Mr. Durlow.
I'm here with the North Texas Transit Riders again to ask you to reconsider your decision on the fare hike. Again, I recognize that some folks on the board have the idea that DART is like a public business and should be turning a profit. I just want to say that's absurd. DART is a public service and it's never going to turn a profit. It's providing public transit to people. It's an investment in making the city run, and you all should treat it that way. But aside from that, I also wanted to raise, emphasize what Mr. Patrick said, who spoke second in the first comments period, that more people need to, there needs to be more signage, more effort to let folks know throughout the DART system what's going on, that there are board meetings, that the fare hike is even happening. We talk to people on DART and they have no idea the fare hike is happening. They have had no idea the fare hike is happening from anything that DART told them ever since it was announced back May of last year. So there should be a campaign to inform people about this thing if you intend to do it, which we absolutely think you should not do, and we will continue to annoy you about the fact that you should not do it until August, at the very least until August. Aside from that, I also just wanted to raise an issue on behalf of someone who spoke to us, who was on our mailing list, Miss Gwen Davis. She would like to see Sunday service happen on the Route 372 bus, Arapahoe to South Garland. I don't know if any DART staff member would know about that particular line.
Yeah, you can talk to Rob Smith if you'd
Oh,
like
okay.
to. Right.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it. Mr. Gurley,
How you doing?
followed by, the next speaker is Crystal Gay.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Gary Thompson, Bristol Board. The name is Albert Durlin. Vacation issues in the Maintenance and Transportation Department, healthcare issues, and the 504 Workers' Compensation Plan are still a problem within our employment. Vacation issues, there are some employees within the Maintenance and Transportation Department that cannot get 5 consecutive days off. Reason being is because DART is still operating under an old plan. Our divisions were back in the early 2000s, 90s, might have been, the staff might have been 250 to 300. Now divisions like Northwest, South Oak Cliff, East Dallas are anywhere from 400 to 500 employees within that division. Rail might have been 50 back in the startup, are now up to about 200. You can't, your percentages are still based on 250 to 300 employees in those divisions. You need to broaden your percentages to allow more people off. Now you want to stop absenteeism. This is one way you can stop absenteeism. Because when people can't get a vacation day, what do? If they got something going on in their personal life, they're going to take off. They're going to take off. So you need to broaden your percentages to allow people time off. Every time I go on my house, if I want to look for a day, it's in the red. I have to pretty much 4 months in advance request a scheduled day off on vacation. I can't do it 2 or 3 days. I should be able to go on there 2 or 3 days and see something. I can't do it. Not even for a Wednesday, because it's in the red. Healthcare issues. You already heard prior comments from other speakers about higher than usual deductibles, having to change the doctors and stuff. I shouldn't have to go any further. 504 Workers' Compensation, real quick, one of the points that was mentioned to you in the admin committee was based on overtime. They say when a person takes off from work, they have to fill that shift on overtime. That's not true. That is not true. You have, on the transportation department, I can speak on that one. You have what you call an export. Those export operators are not on overtime every day. They're a regular operator, so they might be operating that shift. They're not getting it on overtime. So your facts given to you in the admin committee are not, you're not getting all the true facts. You're rushing people back to work on 504 plan, and we're having to run these unrealistic schedules. Because of traffic, we don't have time to use the restroom, we don't get proper meal breaks. Our behinds are even hurting because we're stuck in that seat for hours on end before we get up. And when we get up, we can barely move. Thank you for your time.
Next speaker, Crystal Gay, followed by Keith Todd.
Good evening. I'm Crystal Gay, and I am the Executive Board Officer for the rail. I'm going to come to you to speak on behalf of not only the rail transportation side, but also the bus. The first topic I would like to touch on, I'm sure you heard over and over again, is the insurance. I myself, I have a specialist when I go to see for my eyes. I had to come out of pocket personally several hundreds of dollars to get my regular checkup that I get quarterly. On top of the fact that I am currently still waiting on my medication that I use
that helps me with my vision that has not been approved. Currently, still trying to get it approved. I just want to make note. And I have the open access. The other thing I would like to touch on is one of my fellow transportation sisters touched on, and I was going to touch on as well. On behalf of the rail, I myself, as well as other individuals on behalf of the rail, has made countless emails to our police department asking for assistance at night, helping to clear our trains. I also want to bring to your attention that recently we just had one of our field supervisors that was attacked so bad, it took 5 individuals off the train to pull that individual off of one of our field supervisors. So of course you can understand where we stand as train operators, whether you're a male or a female. And at the end of the night, before it's time for us to pull in, there are countless people on our train. It's unheard of, or shouldn't it be expected for us to have to clear the train by ourselves against so many people that typically don't want to get off the train because they have nowhere to go. The other thing I would like to touch on as well is our facilities. I've been on the transportation side for almost 8 years, and our facilities are, in my opinion, they're not on the level that it is down here. I can come down here at any given time, utilize the facilities, and they're always clean and presentable. But for us as train operators, bus operators, when we utilize our facilities, half the time they're nasty, do not have the proper utensils that are needed for us, whether it's tissue, paper towels, soap, or anything like that. And it's unfair to us. Also, I would like to touch on the fact that when it comes down to this, to the 504, I think that if the company would take the time now to reevaluate every individual's case, because I myself have personally had to fight with the company on a case, on an individual case when it came down to being injured on the job. And I sent this to you, and I've already said this to a few people here. It is the most stressful thing to go through when we're already in pain, already going through medical treatments, to have to deal with a company that is putting even more stress on us because they want us to come back before the time is that we really need to be coming back to work. You're not going to get 100% out of no individual when you're forcing them to come back. I just want to make note of that. But thank you for your time.
Is Keith Todd, followed by Mr. Christian.
Good evening. My name is Keith Todd. I represent NRV and also Local 1338. My issue is we always ask us to provide 5-star service. We like to provide that, but we don't have the proper equipment because DART says we have to buy the tools to run our shop and operate it. And when we ask for compensation for that, they said, well, you don't need that money because y'all just take it out, go to the store and buy liquor with it at the end of the month. And what we're doing is trying to dispel that rumor because what happened is we buy tools all through the year. We don't buy it just one time a month in October. So when you give us a check for that covering tool reimbursement, we can bring, everybody can bring receipts out showing we'll be paying 3 times as much as you just pay just for ordinary everyday tools because they don't replace tools that are broken. A lot of these companies now have not known they go with lifetime guarantee tools because they lost money on it. Also on my insurance, they didn't explain it very well. Last year I spent $1,500 on my out-of-pocket deductible. This year in my insurance, I spent that in 3 months. And now after that, I still have to pay 15%. And nobody in the plan, when they came out there to tell us about it, nobody explained it to us. They just said, well, we'll get this and we'll have everybody come out there and tell you what's going on. But the people who had to represent the healthcare people did not, they said, we'll have to get back to you, and we never see them here again. And we like to provide very good service, and we like to be healthy while we do that. Well, we've been penalized for people who actually keep up with their health. Taking medicine and following the doctor's orders, seems like they penalize us to just not doing what we're supposed to and just have a bad experience at work. And we just like to be able to keep that situation going right now. And that's all of us.
Thank you, sir. Followed by Wade B. Wade.
Good evening, board.
into you, Mr. Gary Thomas. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I talked to you about a listing error. And the people today are brought to you issues consistent of their livelihood. You make decisions consistent of their livelihood. Now, the problem I got is when DART come to you and tell you a cheaper version of what's going to save you money as a company, you listen. But there's no beneficial facts. Whatever DART tells you, you listen. And you always get it wrong. Now, my issue is, you got people coming here talking about the 504. You got people coming here talking about the insurance. What do it take for you to listen? Because what DART is telling you is not beneficial for the employees that you uphold and say that you will take care of. You were put in a position to do one thing: represent the employees, represent the public. That's what you were put in a position for. That's what you swore to do, is to take care of us. And we don't have a problem coming in and doing what you ask us to do, day in and day out. But just like I said before, we make you look good when you don't. Now, what I'm asking you to do is fix it, investigate it, and fix it. I'm not asking you for much. I'm not asking you to lie for me. I'm not asking you to cheat or steal from me. All I'm asking you to do is provide the necessity for the families that represent you and the passengers that ride our buses and our trains. Now, I should be in here talking about safety. See, because that's the ongoing issue consistent of DART is safety, where people got to be worried about riding the buses and worried about riding the trains consistent of safety, whether or not they're going to get assaulted. But I'm in here discussing with you about a 504 and an insurance that you agreed upon that doesn't work. Now, only thing I'm asking you to do is fix it. Put in position what you will put in position to do. And that's to represent DART. And the employees of DART, the passengers / customers that ride DART. That's all I'm asking you to do. And I'm asking you, take it for what it's worth. You had the young lady come to you from the police department that says it's out of whack. I got a passenger that's married to a husband on the bus that's in a wheelchair. Got 3 doctors that went to Baylor. Baylor recommended 3 doctors, and they told her they would and was not accepting the insurance that you implemented. Now, sooner or later, we're going to figure it out. And I'm asking you to do it now. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Mr. Christian. Wade, followed by Kenneth Day.
Hey, my name is Bernard Wade, and I stand here in place of some of these empty seats here for my coworkers. As you see, we have a bunch of vacant seats. A lot of our coworkers can't make a board meeting because most of us out there on the bus, we're driving those passengers home, trying to get them from work. Now, we're down here discussing 504, discussing the insurance, safety. Those are big issues that operators have with DART. And it's sad that we have to come here and tell you all our situations. We should have someone that's standing in behalf of us. We say I thank our wife for this 5-star program that she implemented because it gives us a standard to go by. Our standard is we're supposed to be you all's customers.
That's right.
Y'all are our board. So we are you all's customers. Where is the 5-star service that the board is giving the operators, the supervisors, the fire enforcement, the transit police? You have transit police right now, they're mandatory to work overtime. You complain that operators are working overtime, you complain about what we make. But here it is, we're down here doing a job that most of you all, when y'all at home sleeping, we're up doing that job that y'all, a lot of y'all would not even want to do. You see, we have issues right now with the safety. People come on the bus with pit bulls now. They say that's a service animal. The operator can't say anything. Once he said,
All you can do is say, is that a service animal? They say, yes, we have no documentation to prove whatever that animal is. I saw on the internet, a man had a goat. It's a service animal. These are the things that we deal with. We deal with that. Then we have to deal with issues where passengers are being jumped on. And if you come to their defense, you play a thin line whether you're going to lose your job or you will help someone.
That's right.
This is what we deal with on a daily basis. You know, you want the 5-star service from your employees, but then there's a thin line between 5-star service between the employee and your employer. The 504, people are talking. I've been injured on the bus before, and like they said, you go through all these different prime care nurse practitioners diagnosing you, and when it's time for you to come back to work, you have no more time. And Dart sends you a letter saying 5.4, I'm going to discharge you because you have ran out of time. But it's all because of the system that you all put in place that we have to deal with. And it's sad. And we need to have someone in place that we can talk to other than coming to the board. Don't you think if we wanted to, we could fill this board right now with bus operators? We stop the bus. That's not practical. Y'all have the meeting when we're not able to be here. See, at 6:30, the average person is getting off of work is standing at a bus stop trying to get home. 2/3 of our employees are driving the bus. I thank you for your time.
It's Kenneth J. followed by Brian. I'm sorry, I cannot read your last name, D-L-A-N.
Good morning.
Thank you. Okay.
Good evening, Madam Chair, board members, Mr. Thomas. First of all, I would like to start out by giving board members my gratitude and appreciation on behalf of the members of Amalgamated Transit Committee Local 1338. We attended the admin meeting today, and those concerns that was music to my ears and would have been music to my co-workers and my members' ears. There was concern being expressed in that meeting. And I want to say thank you. We appreciate it very, very much.
Yeah.
Now, I would like to say, you got this from employees. The roof is raising. We're getting tired. Every year, we hear speaking about health care. That should be a no-no. Every year, we start out on this bumpy road because we're trying to save a dollar over quality. What we are demanding is a quality health care. Not a cheap health care, a quality health care. The same that we give when we come to work, we give you a quality work. For each and every day, each and every hour we work, we provide you with quality. Now, we have another issue I came to address. That is the fact-finding recommendation for overtime when a supervisor is bypassed. I presented you with a policy that the board has the final say-so. We have not heard from the board. I would like to hear from the board. Are we going to honor that? And we think honoring it will be the right thing to do. The same issue we had with our employees. Went before an arbitrator, and guess what? We abide by it. We live with it. Why do we have double standards? Those supervisors deserve same and fair treatment. But one other thing I'd like to quickly point out to you that came up about independent doctors under 504. The plan allows for independent doctors. We had an independent doctor, went out, obtained his certification, was allowed in the 504, then guess what? They didn't want that. They snatched it. Said, no, you cannot be a part of the 504. You can be a specialist, but you cannot be a treating doctor. Why not? This doctor got his certification. A couple other things we need. We need diversity in the 504, if there's going to be a 504.
That's right.
Geographically, we shouldn't have to run all the way to the other side of town to be treated. Can we have that? We like to have a doctor of our choice. Thank you so much for listening. So much, I don't have to.
Yes, my name is Brian Blanks, and I also had opportunity to attend that meeting this afternoon, and I want to also thank you guys for wanting our input, the ones that spoke about it, who really want to hear from us. That's real positive. I like to hear that. Of course, I'm the last one, but everybody else basically spoke on what I needed to speak on, so they stole mine.
You stole your thunder.
Yeah, and but we also like Kenneth Day was saying about the doctors. We had independent doctors that get approved for the program, then they, for some reason, they get denied. So that's on the heavy issue. Of course, everybody spoke on the health insurance. I made the mistake myself when I first went to wear my uniform. That was a no-no. They didn't even want to hear me explain to them what kind of quality, the kind of insurance that I had with HealthScope. Like I say, a lot of places take HealthScope, but for some reason they don't take dark HealthScope. So that, and I came to last meeting saying that the problem is they're not getting paid in time. So that is a real issue that I hope someone is looking into, because I don't think it's HealthScope. I think it's the problem, the plan that we had. And then another issue was earlier today, doing the statistics, they said something about a good percent of our operators not allowed or can't get a DOT card. A lot of the issues come from the bus schedules. We don't have proper facilities when we get to the end of the line. I'm gonna drive an hour and a half one way. I get there, I got 6 minutes, schedules are 6 minutes. But if I pick up a wheelchair or use my lift or something on the way, I lose that time. So when I get there, I don't have time. My break is over with. So part of it has to do with scheduling. If we have proper schedule, we have a healthier workforce. And like I said, the lady earlier said it's a lot about they get people safely back to work. But I never heard her say anything about we want to get people healthy back to work.
That's right.
It's up just safely back to work. We want healthy people when they go out, come back to work healthy, not safe. Just we want to be safe. That's they're forced back to work. Then we come back to work. We have to work under hazardous conditions because of the schedule. We try to keep on-time performance. The schedules are too tight, and those issues like that. But like I say, there's issues, man. That I seen earlier today. I see what y'all seem concerned. Appreciate that. But and then like the other day was saying with the supervisors, if we have a decision made about they fighting for their overtime, and it's already a decision made, why nobody not honoring it? Thank you for your time.
That was our last speaker. So at 7:48, I will adjourn the dark board meeting for this evening, and thank you all for coming.